Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to AFI News. This is Paul Ivan Hogger, and today I'm with Cersei Castro. She's an international finance and ethics expert on nuclear energy, and our topic is going to be nuclear energy, the yellow cake. Sadly, it is not the cake everyone chooses on their birthday. It's rather the contrary. And in the later stages, we'll be going through the finance expert. We'll also go through some legal aspects and technological advancements in the field of nuclear energy. So let's talk about the technological and energy analytics parts. The energy consumption of Mexico is about 245 billion kilowatts, and most of the energy which produced is from petroleum and natural gases, which account for 46% and 40%. As one can clearly see, non-renewable energy sources only account for a fraction of total energy consumed, which is a major concern because it depletes the environment from further resources, which is not good for our future generations. And the way nuclear energy works is you have uranium-235, which is the raw material, which is also present in quite an abundance in Mexico, as you will see further below. And the way it works is uranium-235 is shot with a neutron, and that neutron hits uranium-235, splitting the atom in further 3 pieces. And like this, in this process, tremendous energy is released, which spins the turbine, and that's how energy is created from that point of view. And now one might wonder why are we not talking about, or why don't we use non-renewable sources of energy like solar or wind energy? The problem with solar energy or wind energy is that they are only beneficial on a small scale basis. They can only support the household sectors, but they cannot support in the long run, at least in the industrial sectors, because the energy required is tremendous. Okay, so now let me introduce our special guest. Hi Cersei, how are you doing?
Hi Paul, fine, thanks. Really happy to be here, enjoying the city. Monterrey is very beautiful.
Yeah, nice, thank you. Well, welcome to Monterrey and AFI News. I hope you had a pleasant journey, and we look forward to talking to you. But in the meantime, I would like to introduce Mirna Garza.
Yes.
Hello Mirna, how is it going?
Hello Paul, and hi Ceci, thank you for having me here. Here I have a map of Mexico, and here are our headquarters and campus. Here is in these points are the reserves of uranium in Mexico, in Nuevo León, Durango, Sinaloa, and Baja California. Uramex used to be the company that was in charge of extracting all the uranium in Mexico, but it was shut down by the government because of financial problems. Laguna Verde is a plant of nuclear energy that is in Veracruz, and it's running, but it's not running at its full potential. And we estimate that it will cost about $2 million to get it back and running in full potential again. And to build a new nuclear plant, it will cost about $4 to $10 million. Uranium is really pricey, and Mexico right now imports the uranium. And Laguna Verde needs about 140 tons of yellow cake for the process of taking the energy, and that's why it's better to extract the uranium than to import it. The problem we have is that it will be really hard to convince the government, since CFE is in charge of 97% of the energy in Mexico. So private companies that have like clean energy have a lot of regulations. So if the nuclear plants want to function again, the government may not want to invest in it because it will take all of the CFE power, and it will make it lose a lot of money. That's all from me. Going back to you, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, Mirna. That was a handful of information, but taking advantage of all your experience, what are the principal concerns about this energy resource?
Well, that is just the beginning of this journey, and I think that the decisions that are associated with the production, transport, and use of energy have different consequences in our society. You know, we are talking about finance, we are talking about the environment, and we need to discuss these things. There are a lot of risks involved in this new option of energy that is a nuclear one, so we have to know how the economical and social challenge are, and we have to face it, you know. The real link to the procurement and production of nuclear fuel is because they produce like a radioactive gas that is unfortunately that it has been proved that can cause cancer in the people, and that is
Wow.
very concerning. Yes, and we have another problems with the nervy community. Yeah, that is close to the mind. So we need that the I think that the perfect technology that guarantees better security to the people, to the workers, and to have all the process that are like the same in, for example, United States that are better economies, but we are that are like economies that are in development. That is important to have the same technology to be sure that we are going to have problems or talking about health or something like that.
Okay, quite interesting. Yes, that is quite right, and we need to take knowledge about our role in the energy consumption. Indeed, it may be possible to provide a growing energy service with a stable or decreasing energy demand if the efficiency of the process is increased. This should perhaps be the first reflection about the ethics of energy, the necessary priority of saving over waste. But obviously, also the saving has limits, and therefore it is necessary to analyze the different options of supplying energy. But let's go with Carla, our legal expert, who is reporting from the United Nations with a special coverage about the Mexican legislation in nuclear energy.
Okay.
Hello, Paul. I just heard about the peacocks down in the campus being aggressive. I hope everything turns out to be okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Carla Sandoval, and I will be covering the news report from the United Nations with the purpose of keeping you updated on the latest regulations on nuclear energy. I think it's important to hear this out because many of us are just not aware of all the norms and regulations that have been implemented in Mexico. We have gathered information from the Comisión Nacional de Seguridad Nuclear y Salvaguardias, where important regulations for the safety implementation of nuclear energy have been wrote down. As said before, everyone is aware that nuclear energy has its risks, but the reality is that many of us do not have the knowledge about all the requirements people implementing this energy needs to follow. Nuclear energy in Mexico needs to comply with the National Commission of Nuclear Security and Safeguards regulations, which are mainly three of them, that are the Articles 50, 51, and 52. Just giving a brief summary about these articles, I'm going to talk to you about what are the requirements for Article 50, which talk that the Energy Authority will monitor the norms of nuclear security for functioning of nuclear and radioactive installations that will be held with the maximum security for the residents in our country. Also, every design, construction, operation, modification, finishing operations or operations that have been held or anything that needs to be reprocessed, plus any transportation of materials and fuels required and containing everything that has been mentioned before, storing or any disposition will be inspected, evaluated, and authorized by the Energy Commission. Talking moreover about the Article 51 mentions that the authority will be in charge of consulting the activity with a council which will be formed by a Mexican leader because it needs to be inside the country and needs to be representing it and its team. Also mentioning the Article 52, the authority will provide tech cooperation and studies needed in relation with the government. Until here my report, Paul. Regards to CESI, for more information about the new laws and regulations that have been published for nuclear energy, make sure to go to www.afinews.com. Thanks, Paul, and good luck with the peacock.
Excellent work, Carla. I hope to see you soon. Well, we are running out of time, and I think that we are going to need more shows to cover this. But Cersei, please share with us a final conclusion for the audience and to bring all the content together.
Yeah, sure, Paul. It's no problem to me. Recently I was in the Latin America conference about the nuclear energy, and we conclude that it's important to opening here in Mexico mines that produce uranium instead of importing it, and also with the opening of more nuclear plants that generate energy to start to produce, minister, and contribute to the consumption of the country. Also, we need to establish, for example, in the area of nuclear energy, more laws and more regulations that includes all the security plans and all the security needs that we are going to need in order of the safety of workers, the safety of the communities that are close to the means, and also the preservation of the natural, environment where the means are going to be. We also need to create more government agencies that are in charge of and responsible of monitoring and punishing, obviously, in case to when is needed. So also we need to promote and create more culture about the nuclear energy between the people, between our population. Also that create the professionals in the university that are ready to be in the in the near future in our country in that minds. And also I think that is in a long term we need a finance plan that and a strategy to use our money and our cash flow in order to don't use all the resources that we have, but in a long term we can use the according and the right amount of money to create this opportunity to promote the nuclear energy, but without compromising all our present resources, final resources.